Oh, it's so weird, guys. Just did I miss an episode?
Yes, you did.
Last week, William said hi to me. I turned around and I blacked out.
Yeah, that's the roofies.
Did you guys
that
still
William
get
gives you.
a podcast episode in?
I feel like I get roofed by William a lot as well.
We
Yeah.
got a different multiverse podcast.
A multiverse out.
Yeah.
And here I was just about to call you Diddy, so
But multiverse episode, yes, last week when we had Zhao T, professional esports TCG player, and also today we get Zhao Kang, professional
yes.
store
Man.
store man.
It was very Freaky Friday. Listening back on the episode to edit, there was a few moments where I was like, oh man, whoa.
Did you
is
successfully
bordering on
hunt him down on
stereotype.
social media?
multiverse.
yeah.
He's
Did you
from,
find
like,
his clothing brand?
No, I haven't. Should
It's
we?
pretty cool.
I was
Yeah.
very
Like-
impressed.
like,
At 23 years old,
so
doing clothes and
he-
part of drop shipping.
He's like from Earth 808, and you're like from Earth 303 or something.
Yeah. It's the Marvel multiverse.
And then you
just
guys
the-
both messed up your ankles as well.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm from 404 era.
Not found.
Yeah, not bad.
There's a Danny somewhere out there that isn't a trucker, you know?
Yeah.
So, anyway,
He's a bus driver.
I need to address, you guys skipped over, but there was a hot minute where like William mentioned you ran a toy store.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I don't know why I didn't ask.
How do
any
we
further
keep
questions
learning
for
new
this.
things about you, William?
Well,
What do you
didn't know?
mean? No, I don't know you ran
You've
a
never
toy
mentioned
store.
it. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, I do have.
I
a
know
toy
you
store.
like. I know you were like.
You, what, you
"Oh, I
still
like-"
have a toy store right now?
Semi.
What?
Like I still do. I still have retails in.
Listen,
yeah.
me and Danny, we were just like, oh yeah, he likes Transformers. He likes his toy collectibles. Street Sharks. You ran a store apparently.
Sharks. Let's go.
So elaborate. What do you mean by a toy store?
Like a collectible store.
In Malaysia?
Yeah.
So like at 22, did you start small or you saved up a bunch of money so you could
I started
buy a bunch
online.
of
I
stuff?
started then it wasn't like Facebook then. So we had like forums. You know, like what we had here was what's the forum in WA? Whirlpool, is it?
Oh,
Never used it, I'm not sure.
internet forums.
Yeah, something like that. So you had that kind of forum, right? So we had something like that, and we used that to.
It'll be like Craigslist kind of deal, right?
not Craigslist, because you have to like actual list. This is a forum, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I used forums for things like WoW in the early days and like,
Correct. So
and
it's the
different
same
stuff.
thing, but you sell stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I in the early days for like Warhammer Fantasy, we did the same thing. Like there was no, it was more like a website with a forum, and that's where you would go. Fuck, I honestly had just completely forgot about forums existing. It was
Yeah.
a crazy time. Like,
Crazy time. But before Facebook ever existed. We
Yeah.
had forums.
Did it work out well for you? Did you make some money off selling toys?
Yeah.
Have fun with it?
That was my main job.
well, if it's still around, obviously
your-
it's done pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind
How
of like
long
what kind of stuff did you stock?
I did hot toys and stuff, like collectibles, like high end stuff.
Yeah.
Huh. How long did that go for?
Many years.
If it's current, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Many years.
Can I find it online?
Not really anymore. Like scaling down.
What
Scaling
if
down.
what if me and
Like,
you, Danny, we go back to like William's hometown and we go track his
There's just statues of William in
yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
Nah.
What
So-
if he's secretly like some like emperor from his town?
So I'm like, what I do is pretty much is now I'm scaling down, cutting off because like I'm not there anymore. So the business has been like become like a back burner kind of thing, right?
Yeah, slowly declining, right?
Yeah.
I think like any small business needs the owner and the director or the manager or
Correct.
whatever it is like
So
in there.
it's still
feeling.
there. It's just not there. I guess it's not like making money now. So
No, I hear.
yeah.
I hear.
But I like if like I have experience, but yeah, pretty much that's it.
Oh. Well, the episode as a whole, it was very interesting. Like getting on like proper guests. I'm thinking we're going to get more guests regularly in the
Yeah.
future.
Oh,
So-
if you find out in Asia, so in 2012 or 13, if you pay using PayPal, you'll see my face on the PayPal banners.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
were you like on the advertisements?
Yeah. So like I was selected as one of the PayPal ambassador for
If you look back
that
far
year.
enough, you'll find William Chung in ancient oil paintings. And scripture, you know?
It was
He's
the-
hidden away like Dracula.
Early PayPal really did like a lot of effort to kind of like do reach outs into the community
Correct.
and find like local buyers and like promote them and stuff like that. And
Correct.
I know, there's quite a few decent like internet stories of people doing quite well off the back of the support that PayPal gave them. Obviously, it helps them in the end, right? But there's that support to be able to push online and kind of, especially at the time where it it was like a forefront of like selling things online. Like it's still that very speculative. Now you can jump on eBay and you find a magic card or a piece for your engine or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You can grab it. But in the early days, it was still very like, are they going to steal our money? Like who knows what's going on?
Yeah.
It's like still very speculative.
Buyer protection was just kind of a wild west.
It's like trying to buy something on Facebook Marketplace now, where you just like you give someone your address and you hope they're not going to come stab you.
Well, that was like my parents never bought online stuff in the past because they didn't trust it. But I feel like we've moved to the point where buying online is just the go-to now.
Yeah.
So
I feel like PayPal. I think PayPal did a very, how do I put it? There was a time during pandemic, right? COVID. I think PayPal was at its worst because a lot of payment through online. There's a lot of cash handling then, as we know. I think PayPal then was really one of the biggest payment platform, and I think a lot of people were doing a lot of chargebacks
Yeah.
with PayPal as well during the time, and PayPal was getting hit left, right, and center because they can't investigate because everybody's at home, right? So you can't really go out to file police
and there's
report
too many
and
at the
stuff
one
like-
time.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
So yeah,
I'm sure there's like a system as well where they expect let's say 2% of the people do chargebacks. It's cheaper to not investigate it and just give them their money back than it is to figure it out. And like that's happened a lot with like insurance reports. Like some stuff will always get looked into, but other things they'll pretty much never look into because it's more expensive to send someone out and try to figure it out, right? But if your chargeback goes from 2% to say 10% or whatever, even to 6%, they might be talking millions of dollars where it starts to blow that out.
We're in the obviously in the hobby field, and buying hobby online is always a bit of a tricky one, especially when trading cards. It's like high value cards. For the person buying, you ideally want to be paying what I believe it's PayPal goods and service, where there's an extra 4%, but you have the option to, charge back. But then some sellers actually won't accept you doing goods and service because they might get copped with a chargeback.
Yeah. Well, I think even sending there's a charge now to even just send money to or like money from non-commercial stuff now.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I buy cards, you pick like friends and family, but you still end up paying a fee.
There's no perfect system to buy safely online. You just have to go.
I think it's just reputation right
Reputation's
now.
a massive
So
one.
you know what? I sell cards online as well, right? So pretty much when I sell, people just pay me bank transfer. Because
Yeah.
I have that kind of reputation. Like
You've been
if
around
you,
the
if you don't
community
trust
long
me, probably I don't think you should buy at all, right?
Correct.
Because like if I'm untrustable, then pretty much I guess like the system is gone. Pretty
I
much.
guess this is like a public service announcement. Whenever you're buying cards or hobby of any kind from like an online place, like Facebook Markets especially, just like check that person's history in the group. If they've
Or how many
consistently
friends.
sold, does their profile seem legitimate? And if you don't trust it, you can ask for references.
Correct. And also like a lot of these scammers, their profile is just like 2 months old.
Yeah.
3 months
John
old.
Doe.
25 friends. Like,
I don't know if you
okay.
boys know, but I've a bunch of the Facebook groups for WA. So like the buy and sell page for hobby in WA, I've got that one, as well as like the 40K one. And I've got a Magic Gathering one. They'll have like between them somewhere in the range of like 20,000 people in these groups. So you get a lot of people adding every day, like sometimes like 10, 20 people per group are adding. And you get to see a lot of fake group like accounts. And it's always really funny, like some of the fake counts, the level of effort that goes into making them. Some of them look like quite legitimate. Some of them have very clearly foreign names where they're very not likely to be in that hobby, in that thing, like I said, or they have
Correct.
like not enough photos. But sometimes they put in like very minimal effort. So it'll be like a very attractive girl and they're trying to sell hot links
Wait,
to.
so the most recent scammers, right? They're already like been upgrading themselves. So when we sell cards, we always ask for a timestamp.
Yes.
So timestamp is when you put your cards on the table and you take a photo and you write on a piece of paper your name and today's date. So that's how we know that that card is yours and stuff like that. So the scammers nowadays are pretty good with Photoshop.
Oh, I can you can
Yeah,
just
so
change those.
sometimes they do really good quality Photoshops, and sometimes so bad they just took the photos from TCG Player and still have the word sample on the card.
Wow.
Yeah, and then put it like in a very, very, very smooth like line.
Yeah.
and then put the timestamp on it. Like, oh, bro, that's so crap. So now what the next level for like people buying cards now will ask, I want a video of the timestamp and the cards.
Yeah. Way harder to fake a video.
So now it's so difficult. Like once you ask for a video, they just quit.
But you know how like AI can do like 3 seconds of video now?
Correct.
So do you need to make sure they send you 5 seconds of video so you don't get AI? Like,
No, I think like with the timestamp, it's so difficult.
For a
though.
while, people were having like you have to post your driver's license next to the card.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
have to post some sort of ID.
I guess when you're talking about like hundreds to thousands of dollars, it totally makes sense as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for now, like for me, I don't even post like timestamp on my cards. That's how like I mean, if you build to a level of trust, you don't need a timestamp.
Yeah,
like people like
absolutely,
if people, I do get a couple of people like are you trustable? You have reference? I say just put my name and ask for reference, and then you get like 200 people.
Yeah.
This thing like, and then people was like BM like saying them like, hey man, if you can't trust this guy, who can you trust?
Yeah. If the bar's that low, you
then-
got a lot of options, right?
Yeah, so a lot of people like, oh, okay. Then I say, is it enough for you? Like, is it the reference enough? Like, yeah, thank you.
It's usually like even before you can ask for references, like a little, just like take 5 seconds to just dig into the person's profile.
No.
Recently I bought some like nice signed Magic cards, and all I did was click on the guy's profile, see that he's posted a bunch on the group. People have bought from him in the past, and then I went to his Facebook profile and I like found his occupation, and he actually runs like a Magic the Gathering store in America.
So were you disappointed after all that research? He still sent you like a block of potatoes, or
No, I think like a lot of people
arsenic,
like.
you know.
yeah,
I think the first one is if a price is too good to be true, it's too good
Yeah,
to be true.
yeah.
And
Number
a
one
lot-
aces.
Yeah, number one, a lot of people just there was a case in over east, right? In One Piece TCG. So what happened was there's a store. I'm not gonna name any names, but there was a store.
Ooh, scandalous.
Yeah, that was taking pre-orders for upcoming products for Locana, One Piece, and stuff, and selling it at a very low price.
and it was a store.
It was a store, like actually, it's a brick and mortar store, and a lot of people.
called Southern
I know about
Planks.
this one.
Yeah,
Aren't
yeah.
people putting class action lawsuits
Correct.
against that guy?
So what happened was,
shit.
and he took a lot of money from people because it's a full payment pre-order. So I think he took quite a fair bit of money. And then what happened was, and people were selling like all the winner cards, right? So winner cards are like from 5 to 10 grand. So what happened is he will buy the cards from you and then do a trade. Like I'll give you cash 3K and then give you pre-orders. Like I'll give you this much pre-orders and this much cash. So he managed to buy the card at a heavily discounted price without having to produce the
promises.
on promises as well. So the thing is when the product releases, right? So now the items is out, but there's nowhere to be seen. Those items are nowhere to be seen because it's not. He doesn't
He
have
just
it.
bailed, deleted everything.
Pretty
bam.
much now he has your cards. He paid you a discounted price, and now you're short on the,
shortchanged,
yeah,
yeah.
you're shortchanged on the stocks as well.
How long was he running this kind of scam for before?
It's not
he,
scam. I would say that he did. I would say it's a scam then because he had a lot of accounts that vouch for him.
Yeah,
Like,
Was there
oh.
any? Did anyone get any like written down promises or contracts?
Oh no, I
Or was
bought
it
from
all
him
just
too.
word contracts?
I bought from him too, but I noticed the scam right after the first item I bought. So when I bought some items from him,
Because people were buying cases, which are
Correct.
like $1,000 plus per
correct.
case.
So I bought some boxes at a discounted price, and then like, look, the item was released, and then what he did was he packed the thing into a box, and then put my address and bought the label and everything, and like, oh, I gotta give this to the post office,
Yeah.
and I already gave it to the post office, but I was like, if you're giving this to the post office, why isn't it scanned? Oh, they lost it. I was like, okay, yeah, just refund me.
The immediate moment there's an excuse, you just kind of bail out.
Yeah.
So pretty much, then I'll just told all my friends who bought from me, like, get your refund now. I
Yeah,
managed to
yeah.
get my refund immediately because I was the first.
Yeah, because like the strategy there is to like try and get the first few refunds out and
Correct.
give yourself a bit more time.
So and then
right?
he was like saying like, oh man, sorry for the messed up. I'm gonna give you a box for all the trouble. And then he when he posted it on a group as well. Oh, this morning someone the post office lost someone's parcel. I gave him a box for it. Blah blah blah. I was like, I don't want to say anything because like I don't want to
weren't
get
sure
involved.
yet.
Yeah, no. I'm sure. Like I just want to get involved.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I assume that box never came though.
No, never.
Yeah.
So I just told all my friends who were involved, like, get your money back, and then none of them got their money back.
So
Oh, really?
what I've seen from the Facebook groups though is that like over time he did get quite a few people.
Yeah, no, he got a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of
a lot.
uproar.
Locana, like he was selling like when it was hot too. Like that was set 1, set 2.
But when you're talking about that much money, it's very clearly beyond like a little scam and gone into like criminal activity. So
Because he had a brick and mortar, right?
Yeah.
yeah, so like what? Like surely
business.
there's got to be a ramification for that activity.
if you take action. So the thing is with because my wife is doing law right now, right? So she's studying law.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the thing is with the law is just to prevent.
Okay.
Okay, this
What's preventing me going there and smacking him in the face?
okay, pretty much it's
I
like
know
this,
he's in
right?
Malaysia or
So-
Singapore, right?
No,
No,
so-
he's in over east, right?
No, it's like this. So there is laws in place, right? The thing is, these laws are like kind of prevention. Like you shouldn't do this, but the ramification is this.
Yeah.
If you do it. But the problem is to get from A to Z in that law.
Yeah.
The process is hideous.
Yeah. Getting a lawyer and then getting the guy is annoying.
so that's the thing, right? So a lot of it is just prevention. Like they try to prevent you from doing it, but if you do it, this could be the ramification.
It might end up just being more effort for the person.
correct.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
so when you like imagine if you're in that situation, like it's $800 for like the scam, right? And then like going through the process, like you gotta get off work to go to the lawyers, file
Deal
the
with it all,
thing,
yeah.
file everything, like, and then you have to pay that lawyer fee, like the submission fee or something, like $500 or something.
Yeah,
And then you'll be like, why should I pay to submit something that
We've already
was
lost
taken?
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, oh man, should I just cut this loss? You know?
As like a little aside, so one of the companies that I help manage, a guy has a executive holding some sort of like sports Commodore one, like one of the last big sporty ones they released out. Anyway, it had a special engine in it, and he was driving around at some point and he blew the engine out. And I'm sure he was driving it like above average, but it's also a sports like activation engine, and it's supposed to survive this kind of like treatment. Anyway, it got blown out, and he wanted to take them to court because like he said there's all these like meters and like these systems set inside to measure how much it's getting revved and how much torque is going through it, and it was under all the levels that it was supposed to be the operating in, right? So he wasn't putting it under any extra pressure than it should have been, that it should be able to handle. Anyway, but the engine blew out and it had needed all this fixing, and it had to go back to Holden to get redone. And he wanted to like sue Holden to like pay for the damages, right? Anyway, we went to court and we got a lawyer. And it went like 9 months. We'd spent $33,000 with the lawyers. Like, I'm just managing it for him and like the payments and stuff, really. He's doing all that bit. But at $33,000, I was like, John, you could literally just bought a whole nother engine here. So it got to like, I think 38,000, and we were no steps closer in court to getting any answers. So we
Because Holden just keeps like,
they could
prolong
just
the
string
thing,
it out.
yeah.
So in the end, we cut it and we just bought a second engine for another 30 grand. So then the total loss was like 68 grand.
Where
Whereas
you
like,
just had the new engine.
you could have bought it for
That's what I'm
33
saying,
grand,
right?
yeah.
The law is to prevent.
Yeah.
It's not like you can execute
Taking
it right
action
away.
here is
yeah.
hard.
Taking action is like the whole another story though. Like you can tell someone like, look, I could sue you, but the process is just another level.
true.
It's just scare. It's not scare tactics, but if someone were to follow through,
I guess people know as well if like the thing is not too hectic enough, they'll probably get away with it because
Correct.
people's ability to manage and deal with it
Yeah,
is lesser,
$1,000
right?
doesn't really
So-
change someone's life.
so what if the person you scam was a lawyer and doing this is no cost to him?
Yeah, like out of spite, they're like,
So that could be your problem, right? Then and there. So
I think that's all crime, right? Like you can get away with a lot of crime over and over again, but until you get to piss off the wrong person, like
Correct.
it's
like,
very Better Call Saul. You ever watch that TV series?
that's pretty
Great
good.
series.
Well, it's like you always hear like like a guy's like a bit of a hothead and he'll fight anybody, and eventually one day he tries to fight a cop who's just not in uniform or something, and then he ends up in
fucked
jail,
by the
right?
law.
Yeah.
You guys ever been scammed before in hobby?
yes,
Yes.
What was your scam? What happened?
not really. I mean, hobby. Yeah, it's pretty much cards. I bought cards.
What did you buy?
No, I bought some One Piece cards from this guy because I was buy listing, right? So
Yeah.
he sold me a collection, and he didn't send the cards.
Oh, you just didn't send them?
No, but I don't want him to send it now because if you keep owing me money, I can keep calling you out. Because he's a real person. Like he's not he still plays locally. Like he still buy cards
Whoa,
from people.
locally.
So I like it that way because then I could. If you're still owing me money,
Yeah,
I
William
could
has
always-
an edge on the guy.
Yeah,
He has dirt.
I'm always a dirt on you. Like I could just go to this group, like this guy's a scammer. Look at this. I can just show him my screenshot of the chat. Like, hey, he still owe me money, bro. He didn't send the cards. Like he's a scammer. I can
So you sent the money under the pretense that
so
he'd send it to you.
I bought like a bunch of cards. He sent me the cards the first time.
Yep.
And then I noticed that the cards were like a little bit of it was Japanese cards, which is not legal here.
Yeah. Okay,
So
yeah.
I was like,
and obviously
hey,
the value's lower.
correct. So I was like, hey man, I didn't know it's Japanese. Can I just refund like the whole thing to you? Like, or I could just refund this part to you, and I could just buy more cards from you, and then we can just like trade off, right?
Operation continues.
Yeah. So he was like, "Oh, okay, all right, fine. I'll sell you more cards. I'll send you send me back those cards affected." So we had a deal. It's like done and dusted. I paid him money. He never sent the cards. So I already sent him back those Japanese cards. So I'm like behind on and then I'm short of that. But he didn't want to send it. Like I keep asking him, like, when are you gonna send it? Oh, my wife sent it. Like, and then like, fine, I'll just report this to the admin, right? So once I reported it, then he's like, oh, whatever. And then, okay, fine. So I'll track him down. So now I posted his Facebook picture on the group. So it's always going to be there, number one. So everybody who types his name out to like reference check, his post is going to be there. I'm not going to remove it now. So even though
I want to go find out who this person is.
So I can tell you later. I don't want to get into problems, right? So
no need to.
So what happened is now every time someone want to do a trade with him, like people will find his post and then they will message me like, "Hey, did the guy like give you the cards?" I said, "No, he's a scammer."
Trading and selling locally.
For $200,
spiteful William.
from $200, it's pretty cheap to get to call someone scammer for life.
Yeah.
I don't mind spending that $200 though.
I like that William's got that spiteful.
I'd better watch my back end.
Yeah. So like, if it's like $200, bro, for life, I could call you a scammer, bro. I will call you a scammer.
We'd
That
better make sure.
is worth the vindication almost. You know.
Yeah, it's worth it though. I gotta go to any other groups now. Like when I see him like as a member, I'll just message him in, hey, he's a scammer.
All trading locally is reputation based.
Yeah,
And
I
if
was
you
like,
ruin your
scammer,
reputation,
scammer,
you're out.
scammer,
You're
scammer.
done.
I feel like this is William's version of like making an example of someone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I keep telling a lot of people, right? Your reputation is
Paramount.
pretty much. It's everything you have, right? So if you're gonna scam someone for $200, bro, come on. I will scam someone for 100 mil. That's my limit.
Now
watch out, guys. You got $100 million.
If William
Be
starts
careful.
offering things for $1 million, don't buy.
100 mil is my cap. Like if I 100 mil, I will scam you, bro.
You see
I guess
a
if you're
lot.
talking about the future of your children, your children's children, maybe you got to take it, right?
It's okay, but I will just go to somewhere else, bro.
I don't know if this is a thing. That
100 mil,
happens.
I could live happily
Yeah, you're done.
and securely somewhere else.
Just move side.
And you have enough fees to fight the lawsuit.
Nah, there's no fees anymore, bro. You just scam 100 mil and just go.
Yeah, I think you need
Like for $200, come on.
Yeah, you got to scam like a Saudi oil prince.
Like
It
$1,000.
It makes
Come
my
on.
scamming even seem even more petty then. Because
Like what did the person do?
when I was at Gamagori, I bought some cards off some guys, and it was at Cabal Coffers, right? And
Oh, I know this story.
yeah, the guy, she sent me photos, and they all looked fine. They were all like sleeved up, so it was they were totally fine. And do you remember who I told you who it was?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, is it the same person as your person for the One Piece thing?
Yes.
It is.
No.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
no. I mean, I know that person. I know that person. Yeah.
And and we sent photos. I was like, yeah, it looks good, man. No worries. And anyway, he rocks up and drops the cards, and he shows me there's a few of them. And
How much was a foil Cabal Coffers back then?
Expensive.
Like 200?
Yeah, it is. We're talking about 7-8 years ago, so not Magic today. Expensive.
But he's playing Locana now. Just be careful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's pretty active in Locana now.
Oh, really? But it was, I think it was like $60, $70, and I bought some other cards from him. And anyway, he showed me, I was running an event at Gamagori, and he comes up to me, he's like, oh, I've got the cards. I was like, oh, sweet, man. And I flicked through them quickly, but they're all triple sleeved. And like real tight packed in there. And I was like, oh, it's like, it seems fine. I don't really think much about it. Give him the money, he leaves. Later, like I'm running the event, and I go back to the counter and have a look at them. And one of them, the Cabal Coffers, is just bent fully in half. And it's like, it had a full fold all the way through the.
Do you message him after that?
Yeah, of course I did.
Then what
And
did he say?
He said, oh, he said it was like he's like, oh, he didn't realize it was damaged. And I was like, come on, guy. And he's like, oh, I'll come, I can come give you the money back, but obviously just never ever saw him ever again. But it's like the same thing. Like the entire time that Gamagori
He'll
was.
probably come to Northern Boards to play some Locana.
Well, the thing is, like,
haven't seen him
he
yet.
never ever came back to Gamagori after that. And like you said, like the effectively getting himself banned, because I wouldn't have let him come back. You know what I mean? It's like effectively getting himself banned over $60. Was that really worth your time? You know what I mean?
And your reputation till now, till today. How many years was that?
And you know, we kept that Cabal Coffers, and I ended up putting a price sticker, a damaged price sticker on, and we sold it in the shop maybe about 6 months ago.
Hold on. How many years was that ago? How many years?
Yeah, like 8-9 years ago.
Yeah,
now,
see? 8-9 years.
Yeah, still,
Isn't it
still
worth
remember
it?
him.
People don't forget.
I wake up in the middle of
For
the night and have hot sweat.
$100, you can call someone a scammer for $100.
Yeah.
How about that? How about that? $100.
Yeah.
I don't mind $100.
It's almost like I always feel to me is like you're cheapening your own reputation.
That's
like
it.
you're putting a $80 tag on your own reputation. I think that's
Well, what we've noticed,
Petty,
what,
right?
what we've seen in the past, and like especially in this community, is that when someone's done with a hobby or they're exiting the hobby, they'll migrate for last minute few scams because their reputation doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, true.
Because we've had in the
No,
past where
I
people
think-
have in good games Journal when like back when
Oh,
I
I
used to go all the
remember
time.
this, yeah.
You have people that like, well, I'm done playing the game. I'm gonna sell my Forcible and never deliver.
Yeah, but the problem is you will definitely meet someone somewhere outside of that industry though. What if it's someone
if it
in
spreads.
work now?
Yeah.
And then like, hey, this guy scammed me for $200. Bro.
Yeah.
especially the Perth thing. Like everybody knows everybody. It's crazy.
No, it's just
What,
not
what
worth
did
it,
we
though.
just find out tonight, William?
What?
Just 10 minutes ago about World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah. Graham's like wife and kid was playing
Yeah.
at the same guild as I was playing.
So
how,
Graham's
how did,
from
how
Canada.
did that happen?
Graham's come from Canada. William's come from Malaysia, and his wife and William and Graham's wife end up
I just wanna
playing in
know
the same guild, and
if-
now they're coming to the same hobby club like 20 years
I have
later.
a feeling I know.
He said Bella was the name of the
Yeah,
character.
I think
What a obscure
Bella character or Bella is the name of the person.
I think that'd be the name of the character,
I think I know. It's
unless maybe her name's Belinda or something.
all right.
How big are guilds though?
It's a pretty
That-
big guild.
It was one of the biggest guilds in Australia, right?
Yeah, one of the like you want to go into like
Like a
this
few
guild.
hundred?
maybe 100. Yeah.
These things can happen if it's a few hundred.
Yeah,
I get it.
I guess so, but, that's
still
also
in
a
the- in
few
the-
hundred out of thousands
Yeah.
and thousands of thousands,
Of
and
play.
coming from two separate countries. Bro.
True. WoW had like 20 million players at some point, right? Something crazy.
it's true, yeah.
I don't know.
But such a coincidence after so many years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The fact that you're in the same hobby
Tiny
club now
world.
is
The
is
circle
crazy.
is now complete.
So now that we've both signed up to World of Warcraft, Gang, how close to starting to WoW are you, mate?
Playing video games.
Well, talk about that. World of Warcraft. So I'm like maxed out already.
What?
Yeah, maxed out level.
Did you pay for boost?
It came with it.
Oh.
So I asked if you cheated. You
That's
said you
not
didn't.
cheating. It came.
Are you
with-
starting from level 1, Danny?
No, I boosted my
Yeah,
character. Yeah, but I've leveled. I actually
With
started.
the subscription. All right, you buy the game, you get a boost.
If I played WoW, there's zero chance I'm boosting because I can't even imagine trying to learn 30 years worth of content and also just get to late game content and have everything unlocked. Like, what do my abilities do? What is my character? Where am I?
You one YouTube video and you're good to go. Bud.
Yeah,
Am I?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
it is so easy now.
It's more about hanging out with your mates and, doing shit together.
And you can copy talents from
It's gonna
the
be like-
internet.
Yeah.
it's gonna
Just paste it in your WoW now. So good.
No, if I play WoW, it's going to be Danny and William at the daycare and taking me along.
I just want us all to be like hot chicks with their asses.
No,
out.
I'm like a night elf.
You're a night
But a
elf
chick, right?
No.
Ah.
I'm called.
Why else would you play Night Elf?
My name is Eternaltus.
Nice.
That's pretty
That's a good
funny.
one.
Bud. We're gonna. William wants to make an Eternal Magic guild, and I reckon we should make a Boardcast guild.
Yes, go for it. There's a few people in the community.
Yeah,
play now.
there's a few guys. Zach from Flesh and Blood. He said he's added me. I've got to figure out how to work it so that I know
So
how
I'm
to
a
add
holy
it back.
priest.
Graham, we were just talking about it. He's playing as well. There's a few-
What character are you? Like what class?
For the on Frostmourne, which is the one if you're playing or listening, well, Frostmourne is the one we've launched into. That one I put a paladin so I could tank.
Ooh.
But I play all of the heavy mid classes. So like warrior, I did tanking and warrior, and as well as DPS, and then all the general like hunter. And,
I pick
and
holy
wizard.
priest because I don't want to wait. Because
Oh,
if
yeah.
if you go to like the
Support gets picked
queue,
first for raids, dungeons.
it's like you just press it,
Yeah.
you get it.
It used to be tanks would be the number one leader for things, but I think healers are actually above now. Because I think tanking has been made a lot easier.
Well, I never played MMOs much. I had a mate of mine who was super into MMOs, and he would keep telling me how he would only play support classes because you just get full priority.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
People are like, we need
People-
you for the dungeon, join our guild, yada, 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 yada. Go.
And then people was like, "Oh, do you want an item? Yeah, I want an item. I want free stuff."
It was the queuing part of it. Like once they added the queuing part, and you didn't have to do it in your own groups. Like it made it. It was so quick that sometimes I'd put myself in queue as like tank, and then I'd go to get a drink, and I'd come back, and it's already kicked me out because I took too long
Yeah.
to accept the things. Like it goes straight away. You're like, oh.
So me and my friend were like a tank and a heal, and that's why I'm a healer, right? So we both as a
duo.
pre-made group, and then we queue. The queue is like instant
Yeah,
because
instant,
it's
yeah.
like the most wanted two classes.
Yeah, because everyone wants to be cool DPS
yeah,
class.
because I've got some max levels on the other server. So I was playing some there, and so like when I queue up as a tank, it was under a minute, and then if you queue up as a DPS, usually it's like 30-ish minutes roughly, depending on the day.
30 minutes
Yeah.
just hanging out, waiting.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, you can do other stuff, you know.
Sure.
I just want dungeon, like
Yeah.
instant queue.
Well, that's for me. It's like I don't think I'm ever getting to the point where I'm like hectic raiding again. But it'd be fun to like do like dungeons on a Monday night or something with like the group, and then once the next raid comes out, you go do the previous.
It's just like all
raid
the
and
boys
just
come together,
smash its way
talk some
through.
shit, play.
I think you can do
Absolutely,
the raid as well as the easy mode raid as like a pull, like you just pull.
Yeah, you choose
yeah.
the lower version. Like
Yeah.
so now because once you start as level 10, you can enter queues for dungeons, right? And you can be queued up with as a level 10 with 2 abilities on your bar into a dungeon, a current level dungeon with other like max level characters.
Yeah.
And people are like, can you pull more? I'm like, I literally don't have the abilities to pull anymore. So the only way I can pull like as a paladin is run into the group and just run around in a circle and then come back.
And the thing is, like, as the lower your level, the more damage you do.
Yeah, they scale
like
it,
a
right?
scale,
So
yeah.
everyone meets together.
So that's what I mean. Like I have my auto attack is doing like more damage than the DPS. And I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, you hit like
Yeah.
millions.
It's like a
So
truck,
everyone
yeah.
can play together at any time, right?
Yeah, 100%,
Because
yeah.
your level like 1 million friend can play with your level 1 mate.
I think that's how they want, because that was the complaint.
It
then,
bridges
right?
the gap.
So last time, like, oh, you're not high level enough. We can't play with you. Now they're trying to like make everyone able to play with anyone.
Yeah, because you can do like cross server and cross faction. It's much more like
now it's like Alliance Hot doesn't matter anymore.
yeah. They've kind of gone back and forth over it. Like, there was Battle for Azeroth, which was a couple expansions ago. And that was very much like the 2 Horde and Alliance were against each other. And I think there was a discussion then. It was like, are they going to make a third one that was kind of like a neutral group or whatever? There was some talk about that, but it's also changed management, like the
I
directors
thought the
of the game.
Pandarians were supposed to be the neutral group.
They could just join either one.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think video games are going more and more social, and developers are finding out more and more that players want to play with their friends.
Yeah.
And nothing's worse than, you're trying to get your mate into the game, but he's like level 1, and you have to kind of babysit him. So, it makes sense that the dungeon will scale people together.
Well, as Alliance players, currently, apparently, if you're playing a Night Elf, I get bullied a lot because I'm not on the Horde. So
Is
Yeah.
Horde just a cooler one?
Yeah.
I think it is.
I thought it changed. I thought
Like,
these
I
days
don't know
Alliance is
why Danny chose his Alliance and all my friends chose his Alliance.
because
Like,
I want to
oh,
be a
just
giant
like-
buff man.
No. I want to
I'm
be
a-
like the skinny.
cooler. All my friends are also
skeleton.
Alliance. So
I want to be like the undead.
See, maybe it's like a.
But it's based off. Really, it's just based off what race you want to play, right?
yeah.
Like if you want to play Orc, you have to be Horde, no matter what.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Do the factions really matter at that point? Then you just
Nah.
pick whatever's coolest.
No, you still have like a faction ability.
If I
Yeah,
want
but
to be
they're so
a
trash,
cool,
it doesn't
sexy
matter.
blood elf, I have to also be Horde.
Yeah. True. No, there's a Night Elf. No, what is it called? The Space Elf. There's a Space
Oh,
Elf.
that's like a demon hunters now.
There's a Space Elf that's just the model of the Blood Elf, but it's on the Alliance.
My little slice of playing that kind of gameplay is like Diablo. I'll just like dabble in a little bit of Diablo.
So
every
Diablo
now
is
and
coming out with a new expansion.
Yeah.
8th of October.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
again. New class
Next week.
looks fun. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the topic. The news.
Oh,
news
wait.
flash.
I just wanna.
Sure.
I just wanna like from last week about the PlayStation Pro 30th anniversary. I finally got mine. I actually got it.
Yeah.
So I got billed for it, but I didn't get the order, and then
Does
it
it
came
look
in
cool?
12 hours later.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So have you flipped it?
Not yet. I haven't got it yet.
You're gonna.
I already checked all the sold price. I'll make a couple of $1,000s.
Oh my god.
Well done. Well
So
done, William.
JB Hi-Fi is tomorrow. So if I already signed up with 4 accounts, so hopefully I get one
We all should have bought a PlayStation 5.
and then flip it.
anniversary.
If I get a bundle, that'll make good money. If I not, then I'm trying to buy a new sofa. So it's gonna true.
Every time
You
William,
guys could just sit on the PlayStation.
yeah, all I know about William is that every time he needs to buy something for his personal life, he buys a PlayStation 5.
I get it. Like, yeah.
I don't want to spend my money. I'll
If I-
spend other people's money.
If I buy cards, I make myself do an extra few hours on the truck somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Just to not feel guilty about it. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
so I don't want to spend my own money.
All right, newsflash, talking about cards. Let's go to the topic of the day.
Oh, the worst topic.
In the past week for Magic the Gathering Commander has been a bit like weird, right?
Yeah.
We've had, if you don't know how Magic the Gathering Commander works, it was run by a council of people that are exterior to Wizards of the Coast. Originally, you had the creator of the format, one of the co-creators of the format, Sheldon Mannery. him and his a group of council members would decide all the bannings and how the gameplay of Commander would go.
Do you want to explain before we go into like the two tiers of like the advisory council and then the rules council?
Yeah, so Wizards has what's known
multiple
as
tiers.
well. Wizards is the rules council.
Yeah.
Wizards make the rules of the game, and Wizards say yes or no to everything. And the advisory council, the Commander Advisory Council, would advise Wizards, hey, this is how we're going to go about with Commander. And also, the advisory council had full autonomy to kind of make decisions on bannings and make decisions on how they want the game to go. Up until like recently, Wizards didn't really care.
Yeah,
they didn't really change themselves as well.
I guess they also weren't putting anything into the game or taking it out of it.
They were
that was
just,
gonna
they
be
were just
dramatic
receiving, like Command is now the most successful format, so it's been changing a lot lately. But recently, the Commander Council have decided to ban 4 cards. So we have Naru, which was expected to be banned.
It's okay.
Dockside Extortionist, which got banned, which is fine. But the 2 main cards that people are really upset over is Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus. Yeah, William has strong opinions for it. So
verbal emojis going on there.
so Nadu and Dockside Extortionist were both very strong cards. They're getting banned. No one's really upset about. But Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus, the strength of these cards is, definitely no. Like, these cards are strong, but predominantly it's because these cards are worth a lot of money. And they've been in the format for like, especially Crypt's been around for a really long time.
Yeah.
Them getting banned have upset a lot of people. So,
Yeah,
I know you're quite upset, William.
of course.
Yeah.
Stupid.
we know quite a few people who've lost thousands of dollars in like
Correct.
equity of their cards over this.
Silly.
It's Northern Boards, we came out unscathed because we didn't have any Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypts or whatever floating around. So we're like the least affected by it. So I guess we can speak very plain-mindedly about the
absolutely,
situation. I guess my stance on this whole situation is I've never been a fan of bans in Commander. I feel like Commander should be a format where it is just like
Open.
open. Let people play games, and it's such a like friends and family style format of like, hey, we're just gonna sit down and play games. I don't really care what cards you play with, as long as you're having fun with it and I'm having fun with it. So it should just be a retirement home for people to play whatever cards you're allowed to play in other formats. So I think really Commander should just be no bans, right? Outside the obvious, Power 9, anti cards, like the obvious cards to be banned, like we're talking legacy.
Yeah, the
banners.
ones that don't make sense. Yeah,
Then
like the anti cards.
Just go
for
for
example.
it. You have a Mana Crypt, have fun with it, go. But they've banned these cards, upset a lot of people. Obviously, the bannings are the name of the balance of the format, but
What kind of balance are you talking about?
Commander isn't a balanced format inherently. You can't police 20 to 30, 30,000 something cards in Magic.
I
You
have to
can't
imagine
balance
it like in the US where they're getting a lot more metadata than we are here personally playing the game, right? They're talking about people who are sitting down at a local commander like night. 3 people have a precon. One guy has a full decked out, like full stacked up thing with
That's
mana
gonna
crypts
happen,
and-
right? Regardless.
Yeah, but I think that was the whole concept was that they were going to curb that happening because like the enjoyment of these 3 new players with precons is financially and for the community.
Then stop selling master sets.
Yeah, but that's why there's a disconnect between like the people making up the advisory rules and the Wizards itself, right? So it's like they're really looking for the longevity. Not to I don't want to defend them too far along here because I can understand. I could totally while I'm quite lucky, like I had a single like a Dockside and
the Jeweled Lotus.
Yeah, Jeweled Lotus. Yeah,
I don't care about jewel loaders, but I'm pretty pissed about Mana Crypt. I have Mana Crypt in every
Also,
single
Jeweled
of my
Lotus
deck.
is like so
Every single
for
one.
people that don't play Magic the Gathering. Jeweled Lotus is a card that can only be played in Commander.
Yeah.
Its effect
Only.
only works in Commander, and to ban it means that card has 0 playability now. And it was a quite expensive card. We're talking the Jeweled Lotus is $300,
yeah, between 150 and 300.
and
yeah,
then
for the
Mana Crypt
basics.
was also about $300.
Yeah.
And then, but there's people own some of these cards that are worth up to thousands, like $1,000. Like I know a full art foil, like the
The
special
fancy version of these cards can
Yeah.
be worth $1,000.
Yeah, and then there's like
the shittiest part is Wizards were using these cards to sell their products in the last 6 months.
I think that the biggest bummer is that within the last 6 months, there's been, or maybe a bit more than 6 months, sorry, but in the last
say
year,
last
at least.
year.
Eldraine are starting from Eldraine to Command Masters though.
What was an Eldraine?
Command Masters was February. Eldraine
Yeah,
is
I would say in the last
Commander
year.
Masters was February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it
Over
feels
the
like there's
last
been 50
year.
sets since then.
They've been
the-
using these cards to kind of as the upper end chase cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like people are buying packs right now and receiving boxes where that is the chase card. And now not only could you open that card, it's not the chase card. It kind of like dumps the value out of that quality.
Commander, I guess I know why they did it, right? Because fast mana is kind of very predatory.
Yeah,
in
absolutely, yeah.
Commander, and it's all in the nature of balancing the format. But is the format really balanced at all ever?
No,
Nah,
it's
never.
We
never.
found running events here locally that trying to police Commander is just a losing battle.
Yeah.
No.
People enjoy breaking things within the rules. So the more rules you impose, you actually kind of giving them what fire they
We
want to
do
use.
see a lot of turnover of players, though. I think a lot of people come in and it's not their thing.
Do you think it's a natural turnover though, as people play hobby and give it a go and then finish with it?
I don't know. It's hard because like when I've been involved in these communities before, there's a much longer burn of play for the average player. So I would definitely say the turnover is more. Whether that's to do with how the gameplay is involved, I can't say, but I can say that the average person that comes into the game and then is gone a year later isn't typical of what I would normally see the game as being.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have to be more aware of that then.
Yeah. I think even if you look at the group of people that are playing here from when we opened up at Northern Boards, it's almost incredibly different.
Yeah.
And if
It
you
is
go back
correct.
just 6 months, a lot of the faces are new from 6 months ago. And think about when you played at Good Games when you first played. There's still a few of those guys sticking around and playing, but I'm sure most of those people played most of the time you're at Good Games, right? So even in the last like 5 to 7, 8 years, the dramatic change in those faces. But some of those people would have been playing for like 10 years before that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like we've got legacy players like Marky Mark, who's one of my friends. He's a bit older. He's played Magic since pretty much inception, right? And he's played all the way through. But he's a fan of no having bans either, like no bans. I think it's more because it's a natural state of the game, and it's up to the player to play better.
Marky Mark also used to play back in the Wild Wild West days of Commander.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think for him, it's more of like, well, you should be playing better. I think he's right and he's not right. Like there are cards where you can spend $1,000 and win your game quite quickly, but it's still a format of 100 cards where even if you've got a Jewel Lotus and a Mana Crypt, it doesn't mean you're finding it straight away.
Yeah.
Correct? So
It's a 100-card singleton format. If there's anything that makes the game trickier, I think it's the tutors. Because really, with 100 cards, one card being really, really strong doesn't dramatically change a game.
absolutely.
So it's a weird one. I've had a lot of people come up and they're like, oh, they're glad to see these cards get banned because they're expensive cards.
I think
And
people naturally want to know our opinions, right? And sometimes it's not always the best to share our opinions.
I'm quite open. I'm quite open with my opinion because I feel like my opinion is very neutral.
Okay,
Yeah,
why you do? Okay, tell me why is it good that these cards are expensive that's banned?
Well, yeah. So I had to keep explaining to people. You get a lot of people that get like they just look at the face value of these cards being worth money, and they're happy to see it banned because it's almost like, haha, it's an own. Now these cards are going to be cheap.
Yeah.
But supply and demand and how the market works. Just because value is taken away from these cards doesn't mean there's value taken away from the format. So what happened was you had Mana Crypt go down in value, but then Mana Vault doubled in price. Mana Vault took the place of that card. It's not like the format is getting cheaper by banning these cards.
Yeah.
Prices just change. So supply and demand doesn't go away, right? So the format doesn't get any cheaper. That whole banning thing doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
And then you have people who like see it as like an own to the finance bros, or like people who are like,
Absolutely.
they're like, oh man, these people that invest in these cards and then they go own all these cards. It's like a bit of schadenfreude. But if I were to make a wild accusation, I would say 99% of Commander players are not that type of person. Not like the significant vast majority of Commander players that own a Mana Crypt or own a Jewel Lotus are probably just an everyday dude who like been playing the format for a while and saved some money up and decided to like get something nice for themselves. They're like, I'm gonna get a Mana Crypt. Hell yeah, dude! I can finally get that last piece for my deck. Or maybe they've recently cracked a pack and they've gotten lucky and they cracked a Jewel Lotus. Like hell yes, I got a Jewel Lotus for my deck. I would say 99% of Commander players are just that person who now is not allowed to play with their card.
Yeah. Like we've got a few stories here where like, somebody bought like, they've rewarded themselves after have like a big year at work or something with like a very fancy art version of the card. Or, one of them was that his mates bought it for his bucks due. You know what I mean? It was like his gift going to his wedding was this cool card for his deck that they, because then every time he sits down and plays it with his mates, it's kind of reminiscent of this time they had together. And like, they got around and bought it for him. And it's unfortunate that those things can be like tarnished on the back of someone else's decision. So I totally understand that for sure.
So and now like the whole rules committee now is taken over by Wizards now, right?
Yes. So I'll touch upon that real quickly, but I want to make one last final thing as well. I think what's important to understand is that, so outside of reserve list cards, which are reserve list cards really are more collectible than they are for playing anyway, because there's very limited reserve list cards that are dramatically OP in Commander.
Yeah.
Outside of the reserve list cards, what Mana Crypt and Jewel Lotus were the final like capstone, like the tippy top of high-end Commander.
Yeah.
Right. So $300 roughly is about the highest you're going to get for a Commander card before you touch reserve list. And that's what they like to have. Like you have these Mana Crypt and Jewel Lotus as like what they can put in now sets as obtainable chase cards for the upper end of the Commander player who can kind of get there and then finish a deck, right? Or they can get there as their chase. I'm going to buy a Commander Masters booster and have a chance of pulling a Jewel Lotus. That's my chase card now. Without these two cards to print, what are they going to put in as chase cards in new sets?
Yeah,
they're going to have to put what, Smothering Tithe or just Rhystic Study again?
I guess it does lower the ceiling though, so they can reprint things back in that space, but it's just at a lower level.
But I think what Wizards would do is they're just going to print another card like Jewel Lotus. They're just going to print another big, powerful chase card.
Like, we don't want to get too finicky into the rule sets and like why it is, but like if Jewel Lotus existed but it costs 1 mana, is it 10% better? Is it 50% better? You know what I mean? Like less egregious, I guess, is the thing.
Because math literally says between 0 and 1 is 100. It's like infinite. It's infinite.
Yeah.
There's 0 and 1 is infinitely more powerful than the other one.
Well, it's 100% more, not infinite.
Well, there's infinite numbers between 0 and 1.
I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that like, so
would you still play it? Would you still play it if it cost 1 mana?
Yeah.
you still would.
Yeah.
It's like Soul Ring.
Would you still play it because it gives you 3 mana and you can play it straight away? Would you play it if it cost you 2?
What is it like? Coveted Gem is like whatever. Like there's like mana rocks that are like 3 mana and it costs for 3. People used to play that.
Yeah.
I play Tron Dynamo, bro.
So now if within 6 months they print Jewelish Lotus and it costs 2 to drop and it taps for 3 mana, would you be mad about it?
no.
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 So and also there's this thing where
Would you think other people would be mad about it?
I think it's a bit if they call it Jewel Lotus, that's tongue in cheek. That's like a real poke from Wizards. But so I feel like they're just gonna print another similar card of power level to kind of push another set. But then if they do, there was the confidence that card isn't gonna get banned either.
Yeah, that's true.
But now Wizards is taking care of it, right?
Yeah,
so
so-
I don't think they will ban their own chase cards now.
Yeah.
No.
I think you're right. Having a more of a connect between the two bodies definitely makes a big difference on
So what
what's
happened
gonna
is
happen.
what happened recently was because what happens is the anger towards the Commander Council because you actually know who's in the Commander Council. There's a lot of threats directed at them. Supposedly because of the threats, they've passed the mantle of responsibility onto Wizards now. So the Commander Council has dissolved, and now it's Wizards themselves completely own Commander.
Because there's
and
definitely some
make
bridge
Finally.
burning going on as well, right? Like a few people
When
had
I
some choice
left you,
words.
you are Padawan.
decisions. People were really upset over like
Oh, you're a
because
monster.
Wizards of the Coast are often seen as like a they're not seen in a very positive light from a lot of players. Like
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And so like they're like, oh, we've given Wizards of the Coast the decision to make.
They own the brand, bro. What are you talking about?
I've always been like, I've seen this as an inevitability. Wizards of the Coast
Yeah.
at some point
It's gonna
will
take
want
back.
to take full control back of Commander.
Especially when it's like you, because it's a corporate
It's
company.
the backbone
It's
of
their biggest
Wizards.
format. Why do they want an external entity affecting their ability to design cards?
It's a corporate company making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So of course they want to control it.
It's the most successful format.
It's their biggest format. Why wouldn't they want
And they're
control
selling
of it?
commander precons. What are you talking about? Like, why are you letting people who are known?
I reckon there was a few people at Wizards that were like, "What the fuck?" when Monica and Jewel Lotus got banned.
On that morning when it happened, it was because it was late night for us, and
I woke up to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I jumped into the Northern Magic player group chat that we're all in, and I
Are
was
we? Am I? No.
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
it's
you're
disgusting.
in.
Yeah,
You're
it's POR North or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
P-Town,
okay, okay,
north
okay,
of the
okay.
river.
And I was in there having a discussion with a few people. You were talking in there as well at the time. But it's like I tried to check the website, and the furor was so much that the website had crashed and gone down. And because like obviously it's the private website of the advisory council. Wizards had to repost the information from that website onto their own website so that people could get information because people were like
Hammering the website.
very mad. Yeah, like the fact that it's going to the old 404.
Apparently, I heard from like some like magic financial people, right? They say from that announcement, approximately 120 million go wiped out the market that day.
Yeah, there's a lot of equity just gone from the game.
120 million based on like how many copies were printed, and like just
That's
from that
so
estimate.
much equity of
Yeah.
one decision.
120 mil. It's like stocks.
I
like
keep
actual.
wondering to myself, Commander is one of those formats that if they didn't make any bans, life moves on, no one cares. Everyone's
Absolutely.
still happy.
Yeah.
But them just making a decision suddenly causes this uproar.
Absolutely.
So like because of that, I feel like Wizard of the Coast will just be way more conservative with bans, which I think is fine. You can be way more conservative
Wait,
with bans.
let me ask you: are you for or against the dissolve?
I'm neither here or there, but I actually see this. A lot of people are quite negative with this. I think this is a slow and steady improvement. I think
Okay.
this is going to be overall in the long term a positive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's hard, like in Kang's vein of like his opinion, it's hard to say am I for or against it now. because it's like it's yet to determine what takes place after it. The thing that comes after it could be worse, and then that's really what makes your
people
judgment.
can be
opinion.
very dramatic over Wizards' decisions, but Wizards of the Coast have a lot more data in their hands and have a lot more like control over the design of the game, and I feel like that is going to be better for Commander in the long term.
Do you like, because those cards were so expensive and the average punter isn't getting a lot of those cards? Do you think this is a loud minority situation, and that like the average person isn't affected
Absolutely,
that much?
for both sides. Like you have a loud minority in both sides. There's a thing where I struggle a lot with like, yes, it is a game, right? It is a game for people, and like for a lot of people, they're upset that like, they couldn't afford a Mana Crypt or Jewel Lotus. But there is a difference between like whether you want this or you need this.
Absolutely.
Do you
Correct.
need a Mana Crypt for your deck?
No,
And
you
do
don't need
a
to.
Jewel Lotus for your deck to
No.
be playing like a good commander?
I don't know. I'm pretty
No.
bad. Sometimes I do need a bit of help. You know, like,
You want
To me,
it, right?
to me, like Commander has always been the format. Like you can have alternative, right? If you don't have this card, you can have this card.
Correct.
It's slightly worse off, but it still works.
The argument that I keep making, I hear all the time, is when people are upset that they can't have dual lands because dual lands cost quite a bit of money.
it's so useless in Commander.
But in Commander, there's so many options for dual lands now.
Yeah.
You don't need the original ones.
No.
That's just a luxury now.
Yeah.
It's a want, not a need.
It's all about like a degree of like how much better. Like if you have a $300 deck, you can make a very competent $300 deck with all the rest of the cards, and then you could
Every
go.
bell and whistle
Let's say
done.
it's 3 or 4 colors. You could go spend $4,000 or $2,000 and get all the dual lands, put them in there. Your deck is like 3% better. It's like it's
much
changing.
different.
It's changing it so like marginally. It's not that big a deal.
It's a Commander thing. If you were to complain to me that you can't play 7-pot Highlander because of the dual lands, I get it. Because
Yeah.
you need it in those formats. And that's why on the boards, we run proxies. You're allowed to run proxies if you're playing these formats. You don't have to go out and spend $1,000 for this land. Just go to Officeworks, print it on paper.
Some game, like some cards as well, like they're quite clearly like collectibles. These things are 30 years old. Like if you damage it, it's unreplaceable. Like a lot of the time. So when you see someone shuffling like $1,000 card, I'm like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like I've bent a few cards over the years from poor shuffling and like coming back together.
There's a funny thing that I saw where people were complaining that, why would you ban Mana Crypt and why would you ban Jewel Lotus and not ban Soul Ring or ban all these other like potentially strong fast mana?
Dark Ritual.
But 0 mana and 1 mana.
That's
is,
a meme though, right? Like the Dark Ritual.
Dark
and the
Ritual
Soul
actually
Ring.
is more of a net 2 than it is net 3. But there's difference between, like I said, difference between 0 mana and 1 mana is huge.
Absolutely,
Right?
Yeah.
Wait. If it were ban cards, ban Tergrid.
Is that even an issue? I think that so. This is like when Tergrid first came out. Tergrid's a card that makes your opponent discard all your cards from their hand.
No. Like
effectively.
if a card has discarded, it goes in
Yeah.
a permanent
You take
card.
control of whatever's
Yeah,
discarded.
pretty much.
But the deck design is that you make your opponent discard all their cards.
It's not
right?
very
Right.
fun to play against.
It's very not fun to play against.
yeah, how about that? Ban that shit.
That set came out 3 years ago. I reckon
yeah.
there's players here who don't even know what Tergrid is. I've had this discussion like we were like just even a week or two ago.
Things move on so
You know
fast.
why? You know why? People who pay Tergrid, no one wants to play with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it is. That's how Commander balance itself.
Yeah.
If you play shit cards, no one plays with you.
Because like Tergrid's not banned, but it's the most egregious card that I've seen get played. Because
if my opponent plays Tergrid, I was like, you play against. I will go to eat M&Ms.
Yeah.
I remember like when we had some Tergrids here and like because they were a bit of money, it's like, not the crazy money, but like like $10 or something. And I kind of purposely only sold them to people that didn't play here regularly. I was like, take these away.
Oh, it's simple. Like and the rules are simple. If you play Tergrid, it's 3 against 1.
Yeah.
That's how it is. And then you don't complain. You don't complain.
That's like we were playing some games the other day, and Connor blew up all like Connor like is my mate. And he's like, he has no idea what the fuck he's doing most of the time, right? He'll play something like Force Fruition, where it makes you draw 7 cards every time you like play a card. And like today we're playing with Riley. Like Riley's just like, all right, well, I'll just play 7 cards 10 times and then just win the game because I have all my cards in my hands. And he did this with the content. And he's like, oh, I want to try a few cards. And he had a bunch of Fallout cards, and he played the one where it blows up all our lands. And we're like, because
I'm gonna get it.
yeah.
That's not Fallout cards.
Reno Ravagers of War.
That's same.
And what do you call it? Because it was a couple of mates we were sitting down and playing together, and he's like, "Oh, do you mind if I play these?" And we're like, "Oh, yeah, sure." Anyway, he blows up all our lands, and we're kind of like, "Okay, what now?" And he's like, he had no plan for after that.
He just did it.
like,
Because it
he
was-
just did it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's funny," and I was like, "I guess."
Funny you mentioned land destruction, because land destruction is tier 4. So what happened is Wizards of the Coast, so recently, so a week ago, we had the banning of the cards, the uproar, and then the other day, like 2 days ago, we had Wizards of the Coast announcing that retaking Commander. Actually, it was the council themselves that handed it back to Wizards. So it wasn't Wizards taking it. The council themselves were like,
It's
we're
like the
giving
most
it back.
awkward
Are you sure it's handed back or Wizards
Well,
like behind?
nudge, nudge.
Bro.
Like, wink, wink, nudge.
It's one of
nudge.
those things where you
Hand
see
it
the
back.
photo, but on the outside of the photo, like,
I reckon,
Like, gun to the
there was
head.
some good, like, proper, like, push towards it. And then today we've had an announcement where just to reinstate like Wizards' stance on the bans and the going forward of Commander, we've had a few people come out and talk about their mindset, their stance going forward. One of the things is they've announced is they want to have a more clear way of categorizing power level in Commander.
yeah, 'cause-
Right.
So they're going forward with a new system. This is the draft. We don't know how finalized it's going to be, but there's going to be 4 tiers, tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and each of them have certain cards you'll find in certain tiers. And if you're running these cards, it'll put you in these tiers. The idea is that obviously if I'm playing a tier 1 deck, I want to play with other tier 1 people. I don't play with a tier 4 deck. Obviously, trying to categorize decks is a nightmare. So what they've also announced alongside it is that there's going to be like an app, like a deck builder that you can put your decks into, and going forward, you can design your decks in these deck builders, and they'll tell you the tiers of decks.
Why are you saying like you want to like try and cruise your way into like a lower tier?
Hey, my decks are fun.
Yeah. So for example, land
No,
destruction would be a tier 4
I
type
think
card.
yours are fun. Yours strong. Your decks are strong, but you're fun to play with, and that's the difference between some people playing like there's fun decks that people can play not fun, and then there's bad decks that people can still manage to play fun if
Yeah.
they're like not shit about it, right?
So I imagine like
That's why I play Denny's
Commander
deck now.
Precon will be like a tier 1 or tier 2 deck. So you don't get mingled in with a tier 3, tier 4 deck.
So like I've roughly got somewhere in the range of like 25 to 30 built commander decks.
Wait,
right?
hold on. What happened to the Nadu, the precon though? There's a precon for Nadu, right?
No.
Oh no?
Nah, it wasn't.
Okay,
a
it
face
was just
card.
a Modern Horizons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's like if I got like say I punched 25 for my commander decks and thing, and they're all tier 1s, should I be depressed? Like,
I don't know. I think this goes alongside. I imagine Wizards of the Coast have been making a deck builder for a while now. It seems in like Wizards' interest to have their own in-house deck builder that they can update and do. things with.
Understandable. That's good.
And then now maybe like this is just convenient that alongside it they're like, oh, we can take back Commander and do this whole tiering thing for the decks. But I don't know. Like I said, policing Commander seems like a losing battle. Trying to get people to play and tier their decks.
well, like it's not likely to happen, but because there's a new council coming in and Hasbro's taking it over themselves, there is an opportunity there that they like wipe the bans and start again.
I don't think they can wipe the bans now.
I know it's
Doing an undo-
unfortunately
A lot of
Undo
people
is
have
way
burned
worse.
the cards though.
but it's like it's not an undo, it's a rego.
Also, in one of the funny statements they made it so they said they won't unban the cards, but there isn't a possibility that they might not. So now,
What?
so now the cards are in limbo.
They gave us a riddle.
Do or do not.
but now-
There is
now-
no try.
Now anyone who has a mana crypt
No,
or a
no,
jeweler,
wait,
you're
wait.
in limbo now.
Yeah.
You don't know
Hold
what to
on,
do
hold
with the card.
Not limbo. Those people who have burned their mana crypt and jewel loaders are like
Nowadays-
devastated.
now
You-
it's
you've been
rough.
around for a while, Will.
Whoa, 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 whoa! I've been a while. Like, what, a mole?
You've got to.
I mean, yeah, but
You've been around for a few minutes, all right. I don't even like remember back from when Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition got canned, and people took their armies because they made of plastic, right, and they covered them in lighter fluid and burnt them like in their yards
Yeah.
and took videos. And it was like, we're talking about like 2010ish, so it was really bad videos done on Motorola flip phones, and that you would see online, right? Probably maybe that time was the early 05 ones, who knows? But like it was some like people go flipping mad. Like they were burning their armies and rolling over them with their car, all this crazy stuff. And then like 3 years later on eBay, that stuff is worth chips, bro. Like they could proper money they could have got for that stuff. So it's like, and then it's the same thing. So now the mana crypts get banned and you see people cutting them and putting them in their bike tires and all this crazy stuff. But like, that's like, I get you're mad, but it's just a bad strategy. You know what I mean? Like you
Just
could,
keep it in your pocket.
Yeah,
Just keep it like in a folder, right?
it
those
is
people
funny
that sold or destroyed their cards are in a real awkward limbo of like, well, now if they unban it, it's like, wait.
yeah.
I want to know how long does Wizards forecast their printing? Like,
It's got to be ages.
do you know? Like, okay, let's say
In the past, Mark Rosewater has said that sets are designed 2 years in advance.
okay, so what happened if they already have like Mana Crypt reprinting next year, but now
Yeah, with
they're
the
like,
bans, they're like, wait a second.
What if it's
I
already
feel like
pre-packed?
they within a semi-reasonable amount of time, they should be able to pull cards from the sheet. It's more about like because it's not to anything to do with the cards or the design. I'm sure it's to do with printing, right? They've got to send files.
Correct.
But like a newspaper gets printed every day.
Yeah, but what about the art commission and stuff? Or getting
Yeah,
the
but they
art
just have to
on it?
reuse it.
True.
I mean, yeah.
Or it's like as a company, like you've paid 3 artists to paint like pictures for Jeweled Lotus, and you just make a loss.
I'm
there.
gonna
It's
call
just
it
what
right
is, right?
now that the next chase card is a Monovolt. Ooh, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
sure
Monovolt's just
that's
taking
like a
the
little like
position.
insulty though, right? Like they should know.
It's one of those.
Monovolt Neon.
It's one of those. Yes. So Wizard Coast taking back Commander means that they don't have to. Yeah, because designing things, right? You mentioned designing things. They probably were just like, we don't want to have this external entity affecting our design.
yeah, absolutely.
But if they really wanted to unban it, just rip the ban-aid off and do it now. The longer you wait, the worse it gets.
do you guys remember anything else that's on the rest of the ban list?
It was
Yeah,
just
Iona.
yeah. Iona. I used to play
Primeval
Iona.
Titan.
You used to play Iona.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I met Kang post like shit Kang mode because he sounds like a nightmare. Like
Yeah.
Old
Magic
Kang used to
sounds
just go
bad.
infinite turn 3. Play
Yeah,
stacks,
he did.
Go nuts.
He did.
Imagine like you
What
know
a prick.
I
I almost quit Commander because of him.
really.
And that wasn't even peak worse me. That was just me playing.
Yeah, because
like,
you
the
would have
game
met
strong.
you would have met Kang through the boards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was playing Commander with him.
But
like,
I know Kang was playing Commander at GG's before.
Yeah, back when I used to play in Good Games Junior Lab, I was the kill me first guy.
fun.
I could have a 6 months difference, and I could have had a whole different opinion of you. Correct.
Fortunately, I'm one of those people that learn quickly, right?
Yeah,
so I was
true.
like, all right, done.
Well, that's what I think. I think everybody goes through a natural curve of like they get into Magic, and like a lot of players will burn a bunch of cash. They'll like buy a lot of cards, and like
Into it, the honeymoon period, you're loving the game.
and then your friend, usually most people get in with a couple friends, and your friends ended up in this like Cold War armistice where it's like everybody is just like ramping up like a thing. And I say to people, it's like, man, I just calm down, take your time, like don't go too hectic. Because like, and what will happen is like usually one friend will have like an extra long lunch break, and he'll hit EDH rec, and he'll come in the next day where he plays casual kitchen Magic with his friends, and his deck is like turned up now, and like just smashes his friends. His friends are like, their friends are always like, oh well, I can't get smashed. You see them here buying singles and going to like MTG mate, and it's like, and then like 3 minutes later, they've a month ago they were playing like pre-cons with their friends, and now they're all like decked out $1,000 decks, and like what you see is like a tiny bit of burnout there, where these a lot of sometimes you'll lose 2 or 3 of those people out of the group of 4 because they're like, I don't want to do this.
That's why we have Danny, our deck master.
Yeah.
Who makes all the decks and we just use it.
Yeah.
Because we know it's balanced.
That's Williams for
Tier 1 deck, am I right?
Mix shit.
I would just try to make it broken with what I have.
I do always like sitting down with other people with my decks and watching them play the game properly. And I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, this is cool. You could do this. I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely knew about that.
Yeah, I put that in on purpose.
I like a lot of Danny decks because like I don't know what I'm doing until I read like more cards like, oh.
There's nothing more satisfying than sitting next to William, and as he's reading cards, he's like, "Oh!" I'm like, "Yeah, he's figured out what I'm
Enlightenment.
The line.
It's like seeing it, like that Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's standing in front of the mind map, and he's like hands are up in the air. It's like
All
it's
the
like,
strings and signs
yeah, all
everywhere.
the strings are like he's putting them all together. And like I can see like William finally connected the insane dots that I've put together to create a single line of play for the entire deck.
I was like, what on earth is this shit?
So I guess what I'm trying to say with the shaping of Commander now is that it's easy to be quite dramatic with the decisions, but we should just kind of wait and see it out. I think it'll be fine in the long run.
For me is play with people
Most
you
people
like.
that play us are just kind of chilling playing Commander. So
I think
it's fine.
The average punter is not going to really make too much of a difference. And I think the people that are mad who've lost value definitely have a right to be mad about it. I 100% understand them. I think it's like, is it enough to kill the game? That's not. It's like none. Like there's such a foundation of what this is now. It is definitely a bump for this year, and I'm sure it's some bad PR that Hasbro and Wizards like Magic Gathering didn't want for this year, especially when it's had a strong year. Like talking about like Lord of the Rings sets and Bloomburrow, and like pretty strong year. But it's like I kind of they're going to close it out with a good one. I think hopefully.
So the issue now. I just want to say that if you want to play broken like Commander, try 7-Point Highlander. You can go as broken as you want.
Yeah, true.
Because everybody's broken.
Yeah, correct. 7-Point
If you can't
on a
play
Wednesday.
Mana Crypt in Commander, give it a go in 7-Point Highlander.
Yeah.
7-Point Highlander is
5
my
points.
favorite format.
It's like we call it like 7-Point, but I think globally it's called like Australian Highlander.
It used to be called Australian Highlander,
Yeah.
but the council wanted to separate the Australian distinction, so now it's
Right.
called
What
7-Point
do I make it international now?
Yeah.
I think it's a good format.
7-point highlighter is in a really healthy spot at the moment. If you don't know what 7-point highlighter is, basically everything is legal. But really powerful cards can have points to it, and you're allowed a maximum of 7 points in your deck. So, for example, your Mana Crypt got banned in Commander. You can play it in 7-point. It's worth 5 points though. So you have 2 more points remaining if you want to play with other broken cards.
Yeah,
and it's a 1v1 format, so you have to be okay with playing a bit of competitive. But if you're playing
Super
Commander long
competitive.
enough, just give competitive a go. You know, like you've been playing casual for so long, give competitive 1v1 a try. It's not that bad.
It's fun. I like it. I play a fun deck.
Yeah, yes.
It's pretty fun.
Yes,
bro.
you're well known for playing can't play fun games with you, William.
Recently, I've been having a lot of fun playing Magic again. I've kind of like found like a second wind in 7-point. There's been some good people in the community that have like given me a boost of enjoyment, right? Like we've had things like new sets coming out looking exciting, me playing almost 7-point. Recently, me and our good friend of the podcast, John, and as well as one of my friends, Tom, we've been playing Chandelier.
What the heck is that?
So, 1997, Wizards of the Coast and whatever company decided to collab up, and they made a game called Chandelier. Chandelier is the Magic the Gathering video game where it's super old school. So you're playing old school cards, and you're playing old school rules. And essentially, it's a open world called Chandelier. You run around and explore, collecting cards, dueling people, building your deck with the ultimate goal of defeating the 5 wizards, one for each color, and saving the realm. It's a ton of fun because you're playing with old busted cards. Like you can play with Black Lotus, your Ancestral Recalls, Time Walks and stuff. And your deck can get absolutely ridiculous because you're also playing with Ante. So you're running up.
So when you come up against like an enemy, you play like a Yu-Gi-Oh duel by
yeah,
playing
you
them
play a
with-
Yu-Gi-Oh duel, and then like
That's
you
damn
both
cool,
have to, you
man.
both have to ante up a card, and you can whoever wins takes the cards. Oh, so you're running up. So you're walking. So I'll be playing Chandelier, and I'm walking down the road, and some fucking idiot runs at me, and he's like, "Hey, you, let's duel. I'll offer this card. I'll take this card from you if I win," and then you just duel.
I love that it's like Pokemon, but instead of like sending a pet that you a beloved pet to like go battle it out,
It's
like-
Pokemon, but you're playing Magic the Gathering, and it's super goofy. It's old school rules, so you have mana burn around still. Damages on the stack. You're playing with old cards, so like I've learned to appreciate.
damages on the stack. You're like, oh, I'll take
But like
that
it's so
damage
cool
before
because like
you take the
you
damage.
can't really play old school Magic anymore, right? No one really plays old school Magic.
Yeah,
But Chandelier gives me an experience to go back and play with like, whoa, it's a 3-mana 1/1 flyer. That's so OP.
I do love all the guys who are over like 40 years old who played Magic at the time. And Kang's like, look at all these old people doing
Yeah.
old people things.
And now I'm enjoying it because like Sarah Angel and Shivan Dragons
Oh
and
shit!
whoa.
Sarah Angel
And I
used
get
to
to
be the
play with
bomb.
like cards I get to play with cards you can never play. So Ante is a mechanic that is universally forever shadow realmed from the game because you can't play Ante. Ante is essentially like what Ante is that when you go into a game you can pink slip your cards.
Yeah.
Right? And there's cards like Contract from Below, which is 1 mana, discard your hand, ante the top card of your library, and then draw 7 cards. It's 1 mana, draw 7 cards.
Yeah,
You can never play with this card, but I'm playing it in Chandelier and it's amazing. I'm loving life.
It's like
in
you have
Chandelier.
0 cards in hand. I'll play this. Draw 7 cards.
Have you found any like top deck manipulation so you know what's on top?
No, because it's fucking 1997.
It's too early.
But I'm playing with like cards from Arabian Nights, and it's cool because like
Fast forward to Kang crying because he lost his favorite card.
I'm playing a red black deck right now, and one of the best black creatures is like Hypnotic Spectre, just a 3-mana 2/2 flying that when they hit their opponent, they discard a card. There's cards like Killer Bees, a green card that's 3
I know
mana,
that.
1/1, and you can pump it 1 green to give it +1/+1s when it attacks. So OP, man. Killer Bees is crazy.
Killer bees.
Yeah, the Humbled Death Touch and Walls, OP, like love it.
So what do you have to do to download like is it emulator? Is that the right word?
Nah, there's a John. Like I've dug around in the past, but John, in his infinite wisdom, he's found a thing that works pretty well. It's an installer, just automatically runs well on your new systems. Just go for it. You just have to be okay with playing with old school 90s computer games. But I love it. It's been fun.
And it works. It's not
Yeah,
buggy.
it
or
works
anything?
pretty well. If you wanna,
Hey, Danny, stop getting new games. Play World of Warcraft.
if you wanna give it a go, hit me up on the chats.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on the
You don't have
Patreon
time,
chat.
Danny. You don't have time.
I'll send a link.
You don't have time.
Is it like can you, is it like a story mode that you play
Kind
through?
of. It's more like there is a loose spacing of a story, but they drop you in this randomly generated world called Chandelier. Go collect cards, go duel, go do funny things.
How do you work out how good you are? Have you got like a points system?
It's more like you'll just know naturally because your deck is getting better and better. And you'll go into you'll gather hints, like you'll do quests for a village, and they'll be like, oh, go to the tomb, and you'll find like an ancestral recall in the tomb. You're like, oh hell yeah, I want ancestral recall for my deck. And you do a bunch of quests, and you go down the dungeon, you beat a bunch of dudes up, and you eventually get like a.
What I want gaming for is maybe can we do like a speed run in the shop where like we give each player an hour
Sure.
and just see how
far they
is
can
there a
get,
way
how
to
busted.
scale like so we can determine a winner?
And then they have to print the decks out in real life and then verse each other.
Yeah, you get an hour to build your deck,
Your
and then you've
best
got to
deck in
play with
Shadowlord.
that deck in real life using like the original like mana burn and stuff
I'm
like that.
super down. I forgot mana burn was a thing, and I had the chance. I was streaming this to my mates the other night, and I was screaming because I had the chance of winning a Black Lotus for my deck.
Yeah.
I was at the final leg of the dungeon. The chest was right in front of me, and I had to deal this stupid idiot goblin, right? And then I had him down to 4. I had him down like 1 life, right? And I was going to cast my card, but the video game client from the 90s didn't let me untap my lands, and I was on 1 HP, and I was like, oh no. If I change phases, I take mana burn and die. I would have killed him, but I couldn't untap my lands because
Oh, you tap your lands.
I tapped my lands by accident. Too many lands. And I took mana burn and died.
What a silly boy.
I know. I could have won a Black Lotus.
I like the goblin in the video game watches this guy like fumble around for a few minutes and then just dies.
There's no backsies, bro.
There's no backseats.
So now you've
It's a game
played
from the
mana burn
90s.
and no mana burn. Have you got a preference?
Yeah, fuck mana burn. I don't want, it's too much.
Did you play during Mana Burn?
No.
I played during Mana Burn.
I know why mana burn exists though, because back in the day you don't want.
When I
it
first-
balances too much mana. It balances when you have too much mana.
Absolutely.
When I played first time playing Magic again in the boards, I was like, oh, I'm gonna tap properly because I don't want to get mana burn. And then people are like looking at me like, what?
Well, I think that you see that big as like there's so many dual lands now, like much cheaper versions of them, that people are a lot more cavalier with like the land they tap. But like in early Magic, you'd really pay a lot of attention to which lands you tap because it was like categorically an issue if you got to play the next spell and you didn't have the correct mana to use. Whereas I think there's like a more of a take backsies kind of acceptance in the modern Magic where people are like, I would have tapped the right one. So yeah, I
But
guess.
video gaming Magic's been a lot of fun because in real life, getting a card just means going out and buying it. But in the video game format, when I finally
You've got to earn it.
I got to earn
You've got to earn it one polygon at a time.
I do the quest of the town, and they finally give me the clue, and I like, oh yes, I got myself a new lightning bolt for my deck. Hell yeah!
I do love the idea of you saving like a small town in a fantasy land from the plague, and they're like, "Here, sir,
Here's cardboard."
have a bear, a tutu bear."
So to conclude, because we're reaching towards the end of our episode, a while back we're doing the challenge for Duskmourn. Where
Crazy.
we've got a bit of time still. We've got a bit of time. But what I'm trying to say is that we did the challenge for Duskmourn where I think we'll all select some cards and we're going to check on the pricing of the cards in a couple weeks' time to see who did the best.
Yeah,
overall.
we'll have a check in next week.
William is winning by a dramatic margin, which I'm upset about at the moment.
I just choose the
I'm
cards
still
from my
faithful.
deck. I just choose the cards from my deck.
Oh, so you voted with what you're playing with? Okay,
Yeah,
I
pretty
get it.
much. Yeah.
I have a new challenge because that was a challenge for the card game side of things. Let's touch upon a little bit of like the more miniature hobby side of things as well. I gave you guys all homework, which is to go find 3 minis that you guys want to paint. I feel like in our busy lives, we've kind of neglected the hobby side of things, like sitting down and grabbing some tools, building a mini and painting a minis.
Absolutely,
But I feel
yeah.
like especially for the podcasts, if we all give each other an assignment to paint a mini, we can probably all go to it, right? And we'll post pictures as well in the Patreon chat as well and update pictures. But see, I wanted each of you guys to select 3 minis that you guys were keen to paint on, and we'll discuss as a group which one you have to paint. So let's start with example, William. What are 3 minis you want to paint?
Mania's Galga.
Mania's Karga for the Ultramarines, some 40k action,
Yes.
and
Anything to do with a Pegasus.
oh, give me a mini, mate.
Like
Come
a
on.
Bretonian.
Okay. Oh, what about that? What's that Bretonian? The Lord that rides the Pegasus.
Oh, yeah, from the box.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
Yeah, I
one.
should
Well,
definitely know. I should.
Yeah,
Leon
it's a
Kerr?
Lord
Yeah,
that rides
it's Leon
like a
Kerr.
Leon Kerr.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
one.
What else? Your third option.
All right. I want to paint a...
Clearly, the homework
Should we come back to you, William?
Okay, give me
All
a
right,
third
Danny,
choice.
what's your three options?
All right, so here's I think I went a little bit too big to begin with. I was going to pick a chariot, but Kang suggested maybe that I scale
Yeah,
down.
because I feel like we're
begin
going to
with.
give ourselves say 4 weeks. 4 weeks to paint these minis, and we'll report back.
The heck, so fast?
4 weeks is a lot. Is very fast period of
No,
time.
not 4 weeks, bro.
I
You don't have to paint the mini spectacular.
could blink and
No.
4 weeks to be gone. I will try. I will commit to try, but I'm not
4 weeks
promising
is too
anybody.
fast.
5 weeks.
Maybe 8 weeks.
2 months to paint
As
one
long as
mini.
as long as we do check-ins to see how we're going, all right?
Progress.
All
Slow
right, how
grow.
about- how
Slow
about-
grow.
how
How about
about-
this slow grow? Slow
Sure.
grow.
There's no necessary ETA, but I want to let's see progress.
Well, mine actually coincides with the slow grow league that I'll be starting for Warhammer Fantasy, right? So I'm doing a but the what I'm actually doing is, do you guys know who Mensa Musa is?
Ooh.
So Mensa Musa was a king of
Oh
Mali.
yeah.
The king of
Super rich, right?
Yes, king of Mali, right? And it was like a East African king. I can't remember the decade, to be honest with you, because I'm a bit bad with time frames. But he's what scientists believe to be the richest man that's ever lived.
Correct.
They had so much gold like in the eastern part of Africa that as they traveled, because it was a Muslim state, as they traveled on a pilgrimage from Mali through the Arabic states and then into the Middle East towards Mecca, that they were handing out gold and silver and camels and traded goods, that they actually caused an economic crisis in Egypt because they handed out so much gold while they were there. It dumped the value of gold, which was the primary currency. And this they're expected, because they controlled most of the gold mines, active gold mines in Mali at the time, and this is around the world. It's if you did what do they, not inflation, but I guess it is inflation. They count for inflation from then to now. He would be the richest person by 50-fold. Anyway, so my slow growth for the new fantasy league is going to be based on Mensa Musa. So he's got this really, it's very East African kind of style. I'm going to do a Zinch style army, and I'm going to learn how to paint African skin for those guys, and then have them coming through Egypt. So they're going to have a bit of the Tomb King influence, where the necromancers can pull some of those up.
Pretty ambitious, bro.
Yeah,
I like this strong influence.
Yeah.
It's rooted in culture. You have a strong visual identity going in. Zinch is also located in Africa, basically in fantasy.
Well, in the
Really?
yeah. So in the fantasy lore of the Warhammer world, you have the North Pole, which is where the Chaos Gates are, right? But not so much described in everything. There's actually a South Pole where there's another Chaos Gate, and that's primarily where Zinch is, because eventually they were going to touch on India and Japan and China and the southeast stuff. They just never kind of got there, right? But there was always been described this the South Gate, where Zinch mostly comes through, and it's the bottom things. So the bottom part of the globe essentially. So what I really want to do is is to create an army that's very Zinch based, and they're going to do the pilgrimage up through I guess the African continent, through Egypt into where the rest of the thing is to do their pilgrimage. So it's going to be a lot of chaos demons, and I'm going to use different models to because the Zinch stuff is a lot of eagles and birds.
Hold on. Is this one model from here or 3 models from here?
Well, all 3 models are are going to be for my army. So these are the first 3. So I'll after
we basically deciding what Danny has to paint first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So for the first choices, for Chaos Hounds, I'm actually going to use Griff Hounds. So this is going to be one of my choices. It's going to be some of these Griff
They're
Hounds.
bird dogs.
Yeah, because the Zinch is very much eagles and crows and stuff like that. So they're Chaos, instead of Chaos Hounds, they're going to be these Zinch Hounds. So that's my first choice. They're little muscly bird boy dogs.
I believe you're
think is
planning to
pretty cool.
skip Ash heavily as well.
Yeah. Well, these ones actually won't be too bad, because the Chaos Hounds are supposed to be chaotic looking dogs, right? It's effectively just dogs with horns. So this is just dog with eagle for a face.
Love it.
So I can paint it in the correct colors, the pinks and purples, and kind of go from there. So that's my my model number 1. Oh, forgot how the phone works. Number 2 will be my cult champion. So that's what I've been.
Ooh, I like the way he looks.
I've been looking up World War II and World War I mini painting schedules on how to do African skin, because obviously they had all the African parts of those things. So there's a lot of painting tips on there. So I'm going to paint these when all the armor is going to be lots of gold to represent the Mensa Musa part, where they have access to the gold, and then the colors of the skin will be nice dark brown, stuff like that. So that'll be these photos. What I'll do is I'll collect the photos of everyone's minis, and I can post it up on the social media.
Yeah.
As a sidebar,
We'll also get some community input. To see what they
I'd
want
love to
us
see
paint.
people join along. If we do progress reports, I can get people to join along
Because
with us,
we're
right?
painting minis, and we also live some pretty hectic lifestyles. If we can get some minis painted, you should as well.
Yeah, if you start painting, and that'll make me feel guilty that I'll actually go and do it. So, and then my third mini is going to be there we go. This one here. This guy here. So this guy is a Dark Emissary, and he's from the Storm of Magic fantasy, I think, which came out in 8th edition. And I've got 2 of these models. I've got one in metal and one in fine cast, so I can practice early on in the painting these, and then later down the track when I'm close to completing the army, I can go and repaint the second one, and I can look at the difference between the first one I painted and the second one I painted.
Gotcha.
Because I've actually got a third one of these minis, which I painted like 10 years ago, so I can have a full range of spectrum of like my painting skill up or down.
Well, I have my
Wait,
mini that
I know
think,
my third one right now.
All right, well, hold on. We'll just quickly finish Danny's here.
Okay.
Okay, so I know what I want you to paint. What about you? Have you figured out which one you want Danny to paint?
Oh, I know.
All right, I want you to paint the second one. What was it called again?
The one with the guide, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Same.
Because like it has a license of variety. It's touching upon the army you're currently building, and you mentioned you wanted to like try painting African skin.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of
yeah.
skin tones. It's going to challenge you a little bit, but it's going to give you some good practice leading in. He's got a pretty unique style, and if you can nail that, I feel like you can nail the rest of your army.
Well, it's like that'd be the good practice because I'm going to do lots of cults. The cults will be like
Yeah.
all the marauders, right? So pretty.
If you can nail that, I
first.
think you're in a good start.
Cool.
Yeah. What about
Love
you?
it.
What about
So
you?
I'm
Do you
gonna
like it as well?
remove the Griff, the Pegasus, because I'm painting currently already started painting a Gabapalooza.
Oh,
Gollapalooza.
What,
Yeah.
What for?
So for the painting competition that's coming out end of this month,
If
which
you don't know what
I'm really
Gobblepalooza is,
very
go
behind.
to Age of Sigma and go click on the Gloom Spike kits. They're one of the first images that come out. It's just a collection of goblins being really silly.
Really goblin-y here.
Yeah. I picked the wrong one because I picked the one with a lot of potions, which is gonna be very difficult to paint.
All right, so there you have Manius Kalgar, silly goblins,
And then Leviathan.
What do you mean by Leviathan? All
Leviathan Dreadnought.
of it? Leviathan Dreadnought.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about the entire fly.
No way. Leviathan Dreadnought, bro.
All right, so we have Manius Kalgar.
In
we
depth
have
got
some
colours.
goblins.
Is a Leviathan Dreadnought like a big project?
It's a large model.
To make it look good, because it's not a lot of detail on Leviathan Dreadnought. To make it look really
so
fancy.
I'm picking Horus Heresy Death God.
Okay. Well, I know what I want you to paint now. What about you, Danny?
I already I have
I know what I'm going to vote for him to paint.
It's like you can vote for my second one.
The one you're already doing?
No, the already.
Well, obviously, I'm not going to vote for that one. I don't want to make it easy
Yeah.
for you, William.
No, I already done
you-
it. Like
you
I
meant-
have to do it though.
You mentioned that you picked the wrong one. So in your group for the competition, have you each picked one of those goblins you have to
Yeah.
paint? Interesting. How did you do the deciding?
Oh.
It was like a vote, a straw
No,
system.
just everybody
Yeah.
just like pick what you want.
Have you
I just,
started
like,
painting it yet?
Have you ever
almost.
Kang, you also said, will you draw straws? Have you ever drawn straws for anything in your life?
No. Yeah, well,
William, have you ever
not
done
really.
it?
Draw straws like for what?
Well,
It's an old saying,
Yeah.
right? Like everyone would have, you would get a bunch of straws, and one of them would be like the short.
Not
one.
really. If you have like like segregating like jobs to do, like probably that's the only.
I think it's a Chinese thing, right? They do it with reeds. Isn't that where it come from?
Not a clue.
What? No.
Yeah,
We
I'm
don't
pretty
do
sure.
shit.
I'm pretty sure.
No one do this. No.
I'm not saying like I think it's like a heritage thing. I don't
Nowadays,
think it
it's
happens
more of a
now.
saying than anyone actually does it.
Yeah.
Or
You just get told to what to do.
All right. Well, I know what I'm going to vote for. What about you, Danny? What do you want William to paint?
I already started painting on a
What was the first
Gabapalooza.
one?
So the
Manius Kalgar.
Manius Kalgar.
Ultramarines Manius Kalgar.
Oh yeah. All right, we'll go the goblin. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan
I
of
have
Goblin
to
Boy.
I have to paint that regardless.
Yeah, I
Because
know. I'm
William- I
doing,
think
you, I'm
William
doing you a
is-
favor here, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, William's going to get really upset if I don't choose the goblin.
Yeah.
So I'll let you paint the goblin, William.
Well, you can choose the others. It's just not gonna get painted. That's it.
We'll paint the goblin. Let's see the progress reports because
Okay.
you're actually quite good at painter. So I feel like you can do it justice as well.
Hopefully, in time, as World of Warcraft 2. Well, so what about you?
All right, so I've got my 3. All right, I'll bring out pictures like Danny has as well. So I know we've been talking about like Blood Angels a lot lately as well, and you've read recently as well, Danny. You read like Dante and Devastation of Baal.
Yeah, that was
and
good.
stuff.
Good
So
books.
and Blood Angels are my first Space Marine chapter, so I figured I would finally go ahead and Commander Dante is my first picture.
Ooh.
So Commander Dante is the first.
Is that why you're
vote.
mad that it didn't arrive either?
Well, no, Sanguinary Guard.
okay.
But I already have a Commander Dante. So I have Commander Dante as my first option. He's
Are you
got
just gonna like present that one that Andrew put in the cabinet?
maybe I have to see, right? I'm gonna have a shelf of Blood Angels at this rate. He's got he's quite a challenging mini because he's a lot of metallics, and to do metallics, very fancy does require a lot of glazing.
There's a very prominent face on there. I feel like,
It's a
which
very
is
prominent
Just
face.
airbrush,
yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't fix everything.
airbrush, and then oil.
All right, my second mini is we know how much I love vampires, and I've talked about in the past. Remember the Slayer sword from this year?
Yes, sir.
The Kato Ezekiah. All right, so my second option is Kato Ezekiah.
Are you going to try a giant water piece to go with
No,
it?
I can't. If you haven't seen the Slayer sword from the Golden Demon, Warhammer Golden Demon recently, it's one of the most amazing minis I've seen in my life. It's like this vampire standing all solemn like over a lake with reflections and stuff. It's quite detailed. But the Kato Ezekiah model itself is one of those been sitting on my pile of shame for a while. Maybe I should get around to finally painting it.
Do you do a thing where like you don't paint anything because you're like, oh, I'll get to this when I'm better? That's what I did when I was young. It's like I wouldn't paint stuff because I was like, oh, when I
Same.
get good, I'll paint this.
That's me.
But the reality is like I'm never getting good.
The trick is if you think you're practicing painting till you get to your good minis, you're never actually going to paint your good minis. So just go ahead and paint your good minis. If you don't feel confident enough, just
Buy another one.
You could buy another one, or you can just strip it, or just be happy with what you've got.
That too, but like there's definitely some that are like more limited and you can
Correct.
like really struggle to like get a hold of another if you wanted to, right?
So
Plus money.
For me as well, like I don't paint a mini unless I'm like personally invested in the mini. Like I have to actually really like.
You don't want
what
to be a
this mini
chore,
is.
right?
Yeah, like, I have to really like the mini or the story of the mini is. I'll like put a podcast on. I'll listen to the story, the audiobook, whatever. Get me involved in. So anyway, so that's my second pick was Kato Ezekiah. And my third pick's a bit of a wild one, right? It's the Cities of Sigmar, Free Guild Marshal, and Relic Envoy.
Oh, very cool models.
Yeah,
Two
it's
models.
a duo model. It's basically a
You just
knight.
put them on the same base now. It's one model.
Yeah, it's basically a knight
No.
and followed by his squire.
That's 4 legs, bro.
That's what if it was a horse? It'd have 4 fucking legs.
This mini is a lot of fun for
Two
me
heads.
because I love the atmosphere of this mini. I love that classic fantasy trope of like the knight and the squire following through. It's very classic fantasy and it's
Yeah.
got a lot of fun materials and goat for it as well. All three of these minis feature like predominant faces.
Yeah,
that's always
true.
a challenge, but they're both minis that are all seem fun to paint.
Okay, I know what I will pick.
All right.
I hope like
Right.
I hope when Kang does it, he just gets 2 giant big white blobs for the eyes. They look at black in the middle.
Yeah.
Well,
you bet.
say it at the same time. Say it now. 1. We're gonna say 1, 2, 3. Okay, but in 1, 2, 3. 1.
One what?
No, we're gonna say 1, 2, 3, and say
so
which
I'll
one.
repeat. I was Commander Dante, Kato Ezekiah of the Soul Black Grave Lords, and we have a Free Guild Marshal and Relic Envoy.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, right? So
Okay.
in 1, 2, 3, we'll say the number. Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. 1.
2, 3.
What's going on, Daddy? Man, we're gonna have problem rating.
Well, that's why now you guys this is where the challenge is. You guys got to figure out what you guys want me to paint.
I'll vote for one who is also Dante as well.
All right,
I was
Commander
kind of just
Dante.
taking the piss because I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But
bro, that's so bad. Like, imagine in rating, like, bro, ton. What?
yeah, that's me. As like you're cooling down the headset, and I'm sleeping in my chair.
So we have our minis now. So I will paint Commander Dante
Yes,
for
sir.
my Blood Angels army. William will paint
Agababalaza.
Goblin Palooza. They're specifically the potion one.
Yes, sir.
And then Danny, you're going to paint a
My cult champion.
Cult champion for Zinch. Cool. 3 minis. Let's report back, see progress. This will be good motivation for us to paint our minis, get some progress done.
Yes, once you boys have your like, well, I know them now, so I'll get some photos of them. We can post them off on the social media. Are we going to turn this into some sort of challenge? Is there going to be a winner? I don't think I'll win, but I would like it to be a challenge.
I would love it if we could have.
I hope to
vote.
finish it.
Let's
That's
paint
my
the
only dream.
Let's paint the minis, and eventually we'll get community members to vote.
Can we use nepotism? Yes, I love that.
Let's get people to vote.
Let's make it a popularity contest.
All right.
I'm okay.
I'm not saying I'm more popular, but I'm saying that I could bribe more people into voting for me.
You want discounts? You want to get in a store?
But that sounds like fun.
I
Let's
locked
do
them
it.
in. You can't leave until you vote on my poll.
If I'm painting minis, it's not just for myself now, but I'm painting minis for the idea of a competition and a bit of fun. I'm down. And also, if you're listening as well, like pull out a mini that you really like and paint alongside us. Let us know what you're painting as well in the comments. Let's just all get it in and kind of get some paint on our plastics.
We've all got single individual character models, right?
yeah.
So
But
maybe
also wildly different.
yeah. So maybe we can get like the Patreons to like jump on and like share their single miniatures. And at the end of the thing,
Show us a mini you're proud of.
I can put them all in like the display cabinet on the same shelf together. So if you guys want to join in our painting thing,
Yeah, we have new space to display.
yeah.
Let's get a community space for like the broadcast.
All right.
Where all our minis we're proud of.
Cool.
Okay.
Some
Done.
solid advertising.
Let's go.
All right.
Oh, I just want to say one more last thing.
Yeah. Thank you very
This
much.
sponsor is, oh, sorry, what this sponsor? What am I talking about? This episode is brought to you by Imperial Numismatic.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. Have you been practicing in the mirror, William?
Yes, sir.
He's come a long
That's what
way.
made John proud. You proud of me, John?
All right. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for this episode. Let's paint your minis, guys. Take care, everyone.
Cheers, meals.
See you. Bye.